In this lesson, we're going to take a look at understanding the garage left version of our Revit models, and just a quick explanation of how they are created. So what I have here is the left-handed model. The right-handed model is linked into a left-handed file and then flipped. What that does for us is it brings over the model and all the annotation, and it keeps it intact. So if we have to change anything, we only have to change it in one location, and that would be the right-hand model. However, there are some exceptions. The items that do not come over from the linked model is anything that is creating a view. So my call out tag right here for my kitchen enlarged plan, that doesn't come over from the right-hand model. My building section doesn't come over from the right-hand model. And any detail cuts. So if I go down to, say I go down to a foundation plan, any of my detail callouts, those do not come over either. So what I recommend when you need to make a garage left-hand version, you save your right-hand version under the left-hand name and then erase everything except those entities out of your drawing. That way you have the same views already set up. The whole project is set up exactly the same, but you're just going through and erasing the entire model and all the annotation with the exception of your section marks, your callouts. You also need your details, your drafting views. Okay, your drafting views aren't model components, so they're not going to come over as well. And your sheets, your whole project browser setup has to be there. But the key is now we only have to make a change to our model in one location. There are a couple entities that are not flipping perfect that we're working on, and that's things like your window center lines, or if you do any kind of annotation with a leader, they tend to mirror and have a little bit of a funny reaction to them. So if I go to my Manage tab, and then under Manage Project Panel, I can select Manage Links. And when I'm in there, it's going to show me all of my CAD files, which is nice if I save the right-hand file because then everything is already there for me. But under the Revit tab, I'm going to see that I have the garage right model that is loaded. Okay, so that's how when I come into my drawing and pick the model, the whole thing is highlighted. But if I pick just this section mark, that is by itself. So once your model is in here and then it's flipped, the next thing is to go through every single view and coordinate it with the right hand side. So in other words, right now I'm in this, well, let's go to any view. I'll go to the enlarged hall bath. If I right click and go to properties and then go under visibility, I have to go to Revit links. And here's my garage right model that's linked in, and I want this view to be coordinated. So when I pick my display settings, I want to say by linked view and then pick the enlarged hall bath in the right hand model. And then that's going to turn on all the annotation and everything as it is in the right hand model, but of course it's flipped. So you have to go through every single view, go into your visibility settings, go to your Revit links, and then associate that with the corresponding view in the right-hand model. Once all your corresponding views are correct, just want to take a look at your sheets and make sure all the views landed on the sheet correctly, because sometimes when you mirror the project, it may not end up in the exact location. Um, when you leave all of your detail callouts in the plan, you want to have, you want to make sure that you coordinate that and put it in the same location as the right-hand model. But once all of that work is done and your left-handed model is set up, you make a change to your right-hand model, your left-hand model is updated automatically. The only things you have to be worried about is if you add any of those items that are new, like if you add a new detail, you have to add it to the right model and the left model. If you cut a new section, you got to do it on the left model and the right model. A new detail call out, Okay, those items have to be added to both models. Or if you update any notes that might be on a drawing sheet, okay, your sheets don't come across. So if I go to the floor plan and I have some floor plan notes here, this item is not going to come across. Now your schedules, one thing that you have to do to your schedules, let me just go into any one of them. I'll just go into my door and frame schedule. And when I go to the properties, you have to go through all your schedules, and in the Fields tab, make sure there's a check mark to include elements in linked files. If that's not checked, if I uncheck that and pick OK, it's not scheduling anything because there's no doors in my left-hand model. They're all part of my right-hand model. So I have to make sure that I include the elements in linked files, and then it'll report on that. So once you coordinate your views, go through your sheets, make sure they're correctly, align all your callouts and sections like they are on the right, and then toggle all of your schedules to include linked files, you will have a left-hand model that is set up. Now, when you have to make a lot that's left-handed, keep in mind you're going to manipulate it from your right-hand file. And when we go over creating lot-specific plans, we'll talk about that.